Good evening. We have today Mr. Muzaffar Ahmad Noori Bajwa, Editor-in-Chief of the Eastern Herald, a newspaper in India, and Mr. Bajwa is Ahmadi Muslim from India, and who has been vigorously writing in favor of Ahmadis and minority rights in India and elsewhere in the world. Mr. Bajwa, welcome to our show. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me on the show, and thank you so much for this wonderful opportunity.
It's indeed our pleasure. We'd like to ask you the first question. Recently in Pakistan, there was an attack on Ahmadi Mosque in Pakistan, and this is not the isolated incident which has happened in Pakistan. There have been series of attacks on Ahmadis in Pakistan and other countries, including Iran and many other countries in the Middle East. So would you please tell us something about what has happened in Pakistan with the Ahmadi Mosque?
Mr. Choudhury, this is a very, grave concern right now, because in Pakistan, since 1960s, this problem is there, because the Islamist powers, for example, if I take the big names there are certain names that people are not talking about. There are big mullahs there who people are not talking about. They are encouraging their followers to commit these kind of crimes and these kind of terrorism. Now, Ahmadis, they believe, their belief is something which is heretic to them, not to Islam. Now, Ahmadis, they believe in Prophet Muhammad. They believe in all the 5 pillars of Islam, all the 6 articles of Islam, and still these people, they believe that Ahmadi Muslims are infidels. And that's the basic reason they want Ahmadis to be killed. Because if they kill an infidel, they will go to heaven for, those 72 beautiful hur. And that's what their main goal is, because here I think they cannot enjoy that thing, and they want to enjoy their in the heaven. I don't know what heaven they're talking about, but this is something which is a very serious concern. It's not only Pakistan, not only Iran. In Iran also, the Ahmadis are being persecuted. They are not allowed to even make any place of worship, any masjid there. They are not allowed to do anything as an Ahmadi Muslim. Now, the concern is Ahmadis directly denounce this concept of the so-called jihad, what other mullahs and everyone is talking about, that wage a jihad war against the infidels or against the America or anything. We Ahmadis, we believe that there is no place of such kind of thing in Islam, and we don't believe in this kind of thing, right? Even if it is jihad, then we talk about jihad with the pen, or jihad with, it's an intellect. It's not a terrorism wherein you can kill people, or wherein you can commit atrocities which have no end. So we have seen in the last couple of decades, the terrorism activities are on the rise. And in the last couple of decades, these things are also happening in the same way. The more terrorism is rising, the more these negative powers like ISIS and Taliban, and also this terrorist wing, Khatm Nabuwat, the more they rise, the more you will see the atrocities against Ahmadi Muslims in any country in the world.
So just you mentioned that there is a persecution on Ahmadis in most of the Muslim countries in the world, and radical Muslims that believe that killing an infidel, an Ahmadi, they consider the Ahmadi as infidel, and it will lead to 72 virgins. Don't you think that this kind of the tendencies in the radical Islam is a kind of a perversion?
Sadly, this is a this is a perversion. And if you know, or you are a very serious journalist with very, you are a counterterrorism specialist, you know all of these things. What is happening in the terrorist camps in Pakistan? I was watching some very micro news last month, wherein even not only last month, once in a month, twice in a month, we get these kind of news that in that camp, or in that in every camp there is masjid, and masjid is some place wherein they close the mosque in the night, and no one can enter. Only the authorities, means only the top mullah can enter. So it has been seen that there is they took the advantage of young age guys, and also there has been some incidents wherein the girls are raped also, right? And
Rape,
later
you
on,
mean?
after 3 months, yes,
I mean, the woman
there
has
are.
been raped by the radical Muslims. So this is the first information, new
Absolutely.
information that we're getting. So, Mr. Bajwa, we would ask you that recently we have seen that there has been an attack on Ahmadi Mosque in Pakistan, and you have just mentioned about the activities, the Khatmi Nabat in Muslim countries. But why this Khatmi Nabat is active in a country like India, which is a secularist country, in our opinion?
So I'm saying, like, this is something which is related to the basic, the faith within the Islam. Islam talks about the prophethood. But when it comes to the Khatm Nabuwat, the Khatm Nabuwat concept is actually introduced in when the Prophet of Islam. It was not a concept of a very, very importance when the Prophet of Islam died, or even if you go 200 years back, this concept was not there at all. But now, why this concept is there? There is a big reason. With the rise of Ahmadis, with the rise of Ahmadiyat, what happened? These mullahs and all the radicals, they realized, there has to be some weapon. So this concept of Khatm Nabuwat, it came in existence with the rise of Ahmadis, with the rise of Ahmadiyya Muslims. So when in 1889, when the inception, I'm talking about the inception of Ahmadiyya Muslim community by Mirza Ghulam Ahmed, who is our beloved prophet. We believe him to be a prophet. So with the advent of Ahmadiyya Muslim community, this concept gained more power, because to counter Ahmadiyya Muslim faith, they have to have something wherein they can counter it with a more forceful religious view. So this Khatm Nabuwat view, which is very, very important in Islam, in Muslims, it became important because if they say Khatm Nabuwah means there is no prophet after Prophet Muhammad, which is a very, very wrong misconception. And once this is with you, for example, if you today you start believing in Khatm Nabuwah, you will say, oh, yes, there is no prophet.
Mr. Bajwa, we would like to ask you a very straight question.
Yes, sir.
As the radical Muslims are always calling for killing the Ahmadis, and they are considering Ahmadis as infidels, in my opinion, is a crime. But I would like to ask you a very straight question. Do you believe the Prophet of Islam, the Muhammad?
Yeah, definitely. There's no doubt about it. We believe that he is the Prophet of Islam. Yes, of course.
So, if you believe in the Prophet of Islam, the Muhammad, then there is no difference between Ahmadis or Sunnis or Shias are all are Muslims. Don't you think this kind of tendency which is going on, or let me put it this way, that this kind of madness against the Ahmadis which is going on in the world, don't you think it's a kind of conspiracy to divide the Muslims?
It's not about the conspiracy to divide the Muslim. In a way, personally, if you ask me, it is very good that people distinguish us and people consider us not the part of Shias or the Sunnis or these radical groups and all, because we always condemn the terrorist act. We always condemned any atrocity committed by any Islamist. We always talk about the peace and harmony among religion. We have very great relationships with other communities, the Hindus, the Sikh, the Buddhists, the Jews, the Christians, and everyone. We have very, very good relationships, and they understand what we believe in, and we actually respect it. So when you come to a place wherein you say we are the part of Sunnis or we are the part of Shias, in a literal sense, we don't look like Shias and Sunnis today, because today's Shias and Sunnis, just look at them, just ask them. They will, the moment you utter a word, especially, the Ahmadis, and the second word is Jews, they will say, oh, they're infidels, kill them. This is their duty to kill them.
So you have been working, being the chief editor of the Eastern Herald, you have been working for interfaith harmony. Tell me frankly, does Ahmadi religion endorse jihad, meaning killing of innocent people in the name of religion?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
And
Ahmadiyya Muslim community does not believe in any form of killing.
So you see,
whether you call it jihad or not, it doesn't matter.
Okay, it meaning that the Ahmadis that don't believe in jihad or any kind of the violent actions on anyone in the world. So, right. In my opinion, the Ahmadis, they are preaching peace in the world. In this case, why, as a people, those Ahmadis who are preaching peace are being persecuted in most of the Muslim countries?
In Muslim majority countries, the biggest problem is the Maulvi, the Mullah. For them, it is a big challenge. Their existence is challenged with the presence of Ahmadis. Because Ahmadis, alhamdulillah, we are 100% literate people. Among the Muslims, if you check, or any community, we are the 100%. And what is the second community who is 100% literate? And we believe in education. We believe in harmony among other religions, other communities. We believe not only the people, but also with the nature. We also believe in any form of existence on this world, which God has created for us. So for us, even we are ready to talk. We are ready to talk with the people who believe that we are infidels. In a way, they are infidels, but I am no one to talk about it. But Ahmadis, no, not at all. We don't believe in any kind of violence. It is just a challenge to their power. That's why they come up with these kind of derogatory remarks that, okay, these are infidels and kill them. I have been targeted as well. Maybe some other day you'll talk about it. It was a long time ago. But this is something, you make people, the Muslim crowd is in a way living in a kind of hallucination wherein they believe that, whatever the Maulvi is talking about, the Mullah is talking about, and if they do it, definitely they are going to get those 72 virgins. And that's unimaginable concept. I don't understand the way mullahs are preaching their followers about it and making them radical. This is the basis of radicalism. You start with Ahmadis, right? The next step is you start talking about other community like Jews. The next is you start talking about other non-Muslims. Then the next step, you start about killing them. And the next step, wage a war, wage jihad against them. This is how this is.
Okay, I don't even in my personal, I don't accept and endorse the kind of the Muslim radical Muslim belief that if you kill a infidel or a non-Muslim, you're going to get the 72 virgins. So, I mean, in my opinion, it's a kind of the totally perverted uh, aspiration. I'd like to ask you, Mr. Bajwa, that Ahmadis are being persecuted through the world, everywhere in the world, especially in Pakistan and other radical Muslim countries. Why these cases of persecution of Ahmadis are not coming in the so-called mainstream media that it should have appeared?
For mainstream media, I've been reading your article, in fact, about it, because you have an in-depth knowledge, and you are, digging a lot these kind of stuff. You know about the concept of zakat. So zakat is coming to India, going to Pakistan too much, the poor nation, and also going to other countries. And this zakat is not used for some kind of work or welfare work.
Any noble purpose. I mean, zakat is not being used for any noble purpose. It is used for
absolutely
bad purpose.
And the main purpose of zakat today, where it is used, is to buy the mainstream media, to fund them. And of course, if Islamists are using this zakat, how will that media house talk about something which is contrary to it? If so, Pakistan or Iran, and especially these two countries are like the evil countries on this earth. They don't want anyone to use it. So Iran, Pakistan, and zakat fund and everything, this is buying media houses, and media house will never talk about Ahmadis anywhere. Sometimes when some Western country, they come up with this small news, and maybe then there is a little bit of disturbance in the media, and then they start talking about it. But I am happy to say, during this regime of Prime Minister Narendra Modi in India, there is, especially I'm an Ahmadi Muslim, so talking about the Ahmadi issues, so media has started talking about.
So you mean the Indian Prime Minister, Mr. Narendra Modi, has made an atmosphere where the rights of religious minorities in India, including the Ahmadis, are being properly protected?
Yeah.
And
Ahmadis,
my last question to you, Mr. Bajwa, that you are first an Indian. You said somewhere that those who don't want to acknowledge themselves as Indian, and those who don't want to utter Vande Mataram, they are traitors. So, I mean, being a patriotic Indian and an Ahmadi, what do you think? I mean, what is, in your opinion, that the Prime Minister Narendra Modi has achieved? I mean, has he achieved in ensuring an interfaith harmony in that country? And do you think that Prime Minister Narendra Modi is a leader, is a person who can assure and ensure the absolute liberty and rights of the religious minorities in India?
There are two different opinions, and there are two different views. The way I look at Prime Minister Narendra Modi's leadership, it is amazing. The way India is progressing since the last 8-9 years, it was not expected. Second, India emerged as the top 5 economies in the world. India is going to challenge United States in it, right? Now, talking about religious sentiments and religious things in India, yes. When I call about the minorities, in India, especially Muslim minority, so why they are afraid of it, is first, the very important reason is uneducation, illiteracy. You can be controlled by anyone. They know how to use you. You know what I mean. So Maulvis and Mullahs, they give you lectures of what is the issue and how to tackle these people, and including Prime Minister Narendra Modi and BJP. They don't know how to work with the political associations or political powers or anything. They just want to remain in power of controlling people. That's why these mullahs, they use this. But Prime Minister Narendra Modi has this tremendous work when it comes to the protection of minorities. In fact, Ahmadis, we have no problem in India. We have never faced any challenge in India, but especially during this time, our delegates have met Prime Minister Narendra Modi, I think more than 4 or 5 times, and he has given a very tremendous response to anything and everything. And we believe that India will progress, and Prime Minister Narendra Modi is coming again in power. I'm sure of it. And definitely, the same way, see, Prime Minister Narendra Modi and the affiliation of India and Bangladesh as well, like your country, we have seen the progress. We have witnessed the progress Bangladesh is making during the past more than a decade. So the way Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina is, working very hard towards, making this small nation an important entity in the world, this is tremendous. This is tremendous. But I am also concerned about certain things in the international scenario, in the domestic politics as well. I'm not the one to talk about the domestic one, but there are certain things that definitely needs to be taken care within the country and outside the country. And if I'm allowed to ask a question, I should ask a question, but I don't know. This is, Mr. Choudhury, this is your country, and we are always, with being an Indian, I would say that India and Bangladesh are always together. We were with you in your freedom struggle.
We were talking to Mr. Muzaffar Ahmad Noori Bajwa, a patriotic Indian and an Ahmadi who has been preaching interfaith harmony for years. And Mr. Bajwa, thank you very much for joining us. And we do also believe that Mr. Narendra Modi, the Prime Minister of India, he has been doing a lot for ensuring religious harmony and interfaith harmony in the country. And we do believe that under the magnanimous leadership of Prime Minister Narendra Modi and our Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina, the relationship between Bangladesh and India will continue to grow further, deepen further, and we definitely look forward to a better future and better relationship between the people of Bangladesh and India. Thank you very much, Mr. Bajwa, for joining us, and we hope that soon we will be back to you with a few more interviews.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. Choudhury, for this wonderful opportunity. And you're a great personality. I always read your articles, and I wish you definitely great luck.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.